emphasises that this FA Cup quarter-final is one of the most carefully monitored security operations in modern football. The crowd limit is 45,000, and Chelsea, whose fans are mainly at the shed end, expect club record receipts of over £150,000. While the Tottenham contingent are some 14,000 strong, and their standing supporters occupy the North Terrace. And the fans have just heard confirmation of this morning's team news. For Chelsea, Mickey Droy failed his late fitness test, so Gary Chivers continues at centre-half. John Bumstead returns in midfield, and up front Alan Mays replaces the suspended Colin Lee. There was a late scare when Steve Archibald of Spurs took a test on a groin strain, but he's okay, so they play the side which beat Eintracht Frankfurt on Wednesday. And what a contrast this afternoon between the two goalkeepers. For Chelsea, 17-year-old Steve Francis is still an apprentice, while at the other end, Ray Clements of Spurs will play at Wembley next week for the 37th time. And on the Tottenham bench, Keith Birkinshaw, whose team are still in with a chance at the beginning of this afternoon of winning 4 trophies this season. Referee is George Courtney of Spennymoor, who should know all about local derbies in London. He refereed the 1980 final between West Ham and Arsenal. Spurs are wearing white shorts, borrowed from Chelsea, because the referee objected to both sides playing in blue shorts. And it's Tottenham from the left in the first half with Tony Galvin to Crooks. Chris Hughton moving forward. Ardiles. That's the first shot. From a man who may or may not play in the semi-final if Spurs win this round. He's scheduled to go to Argentina on the 1st of April to join the World Cup preparations. I wonder if he would persuade Menotti to extend that stay in England if Spurs were in the semi-final. The bounce was awkward for Tottenham there, but the ball carried on quite a blustery afternoon. There's a breeze blowing, swirling across the pitch, and it certainly seemed to carry the ball through to Clements there. Here's Perryman. And Hoddle looking up and waving Archibald into space. Chris Hutchings, the defender, beaten by Archibald. And here's Hoddle following up. And Hazard couldn't make it. Galvin on the far side. Tackle by Locke. Hazard now. Back in for Crooks. And the ricochet comes out to Paul Miller. And Spurs looking for the opening. Hoddle. Perryman. And again. And Chelsea glad to get the ball away. Hoddle twice involved in that last move. Here's Fillery. Working it with Pates. Fillery again. Drive there by Alan Mays, who felt it was deflected. Mays, who's been to League Cup semi-finals with Watford and Swindon, hoping to reach an FA Cup semi-final with Chelsea. And he certainly seized his chance from Fillery's pass to hit that with his left foot. Was it deflected? He thought it was. Rhodes-Brown, what a fine ball. Mays this is. Pates and Walker are making ground in the centre for Chelsea. Walker's come near post, and Pates, and it came off Paul Miller. The ball in was good from Alan Mays. Clive Walker at the near post might have capitalised. Colin Pates tried to. Deflection off Miller for a corner. Hoddle with the header out. Straight back to Rhodes-Brown. Bumstead up. And Galvin for Spurs. It's Been end-to-end stuff in the first half. And here's Hazard again in space. Here's Crooks. Hazard coming through again. This is Perryman. Oh, and Archibald goes in and Hazard goes in. And the ball wouldn't go in for Spurs. And they can't work out why nobody got a proper shot in. Chelsea are relieved, but they've still got some defending to do here. Archibald. Ardiles. And away by Pates for Chelsea. What a fine ball to Walker, who's got space in which to work. Mays in the centre, Fillery getting forward now. Still Clive Walker. And that took a deflection, and Chelsea have a corner. Strong, surging individual run by Clive Walker. It's come to Hutchings. Mays. And Glenn Hoddle blocking Hutchings. His defensive contribution was there to see, but it didn't matter actually, because the linesman on the far side had flagged for an offside against Chris Hutchings. Paul Miller now for the FA Cup holders Spurs. Oh, it beat Chivers, and here's Archibald, and Chivers got a foot in, and Archibald did as well. Well, Gary Chivers got caught, first of all, by that floating high ball. Archibald comes in, Chivers gets a foot in. It also touches Nutton, and Archibald with his left foot, the wrong side of the post. On by Pates to Walker. Now Bumstead. Referee had already blown, giving Chelsea the free kick. Fillery, who's been known to strike them from here. Three Chelsea players mingling with the Tottenham wall in front of Clements. And he wants them further back, the Tottenham players. Perryman is debating with the referee. Fillery wants to line the shot up. He's got Rhodes Brown to his left. He drives it. Oh, what a goal! Fillery produces the goal that matters for Chelsea. Ray Clements is beaten in a domestic cup tie for the first time this season. The first goal Spurs have let in either the FA Cup or the League Cup, and it's scored by Mike Fillery. What a shot! He waited his time, drove it with his left foot, and it flew through that crowd of players and beat Clements right in the corner. And the Chelsea fans have got something to celebrate now. What a good time to score if they can keep their nerve until the break. The record stood at, and Clements is beaten at last, and Chelsea get their teeth into this cup tie now with a vengeance. Well, Chelsea have beaten Liverpool. Can they beat Tottenham? The referee blows for half-time, and the half ends on a high note for Chelsea and Mike Fillery. Spurs, the holders, go in a goal down, and the Chelsea fans have enough now to keep them talking throughout the half-time interval. John Neal, who's been to the 6th round with Wrexham and Middlesbrough as a manager, He's 45 minutes away from a semi-final now with Chelsea. Spurs with so much to fight for here. They don't want to lose their hold on the FA Cup. They don't want to lose the first of those 4 targets or their unbeaten 14-match run. Here's Hoddle. Ardiles, Hoddle. 4 in the middle for him. Archibald. Ardiles. It was deflected off Pates. Took the sting out of the shot from Ardiles. Fillery. Perryman for Spurs. There's Locke's interception, but here's Crooks. Houghton. Tottenham with no option but to push forward. Hazard. Crooks looks to his right and finds Ardiles, who finds Galvin. Hutchings with the header away. Ardiles. Crooks. Appeals for handball by Mickey Nutton. Right on the edge. Now, will this be a case of the bite a bit? Fillery now has got to help line the wall up, because Spurs have the free kick in what is normally the territory of Hoddle or Ardiles. Ardiles to Hazard, to Hoddle. Good save by... Oh, and Archibald! Archibald's got his first goal since he came back. It was a gift, really, but he was on hand. And unlucky Steve Francis, the 17-year-old keeper. The ball was played to Hoddle. The shot along the ground, Francis got his hands to it, couldn't hold it. And Archibald makes it 1-1 for Spurs. Well, all he needed was a goal, Keith Birkinshaw said, to bring him back to his best form. We shall see now. Both goals coming from free kicks. Underlining again the vast importance of set-piece play. Foul by Hoddle as the game gets a little rough. And Chelsea anxious to get on with it. Referee allowing them to do so. Ardiles. Well, that was a typical Archibald goal. He hovers around the 6-yard box, hoping for rebounds exactly like that. Ardiles. Perryman. Ardiles goes again. Oh, that was Pates with him. I would imagine every time a defender concedes a free kick now within 30 yards of goal, there are bound to be a few butterflies in the penalty area. The way the game has gone. Hoddle again to take. Up goes Miller. Oh, dear me. Well played by Fillery. Not the best of balls to Pates, but he made something of it. Ardiles got back to challenge. Hutchings for Chelsea. Mays. Rhodes-Brown. Offside. And Tottenham got players back there. Hazard with a smile on his face. It's been a good-tempered match this, bearing in mind what's at stake. Well controlled by the referee and beautifully balanced at 1-1 between these great London rivals, Spurs of the First Division and Chelsea of the Second. Houghton for Tottenham. Archibald, little flick for Hazard. Hoddle moving up on the right. Hoddle's shot. Oh! What a goal! A beautiful move by Tottenham, and Glenn Hoddle fires in their second to turn this cup tie on its head. They came out for the second half a goal behind, and now they're a goal in front. And it was an educated move, which says so much about the Spurs. Little flick there, on by Archibald to Hazard, out to Hoddle, and in that space, he's lethal. Right across the keeper, Spurs are ahead. After 55 minutes, Fillery for Chelsea. Rhodes-Brown. And just when we thought the second half might be an examination of Tottenham's character, Glenn Hoddle's goal means it's going to be an examination of Chelsea's. The ground absolutely buzzing now. Walker. Here's Pates. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This is Archibald. Well, Fillery never intended to do that. Here's Galvin. Crooks, it'll touch inside to Houghton. Opening for a shot by Houghton. Oh, what a fine save by the 17-year-old keeper. Chris Houghton foiled by Francis. After an extraordinary slice by Fillery had put Chelsea in trouble on the far side, Tottenham attacked. Houghton found room for the shot, and great reflexes by this emerging young goalkeeper who hasn't allowed the 2 goals to affect him, it would seem. Away by Nutton, it's going to come to Galvin. Oof. And the player who it struck was a Tottenham colleague who's flat out in the penalty area. Paul Price. Galvin. Look at the length on that. Hoddle. He shook off Fillery there. And he made room for Hazard. And they just can't stop Glenn Hoddle. Hazard the scorer, his second important goal in a matter of days. But Fillery lost out to Hoddle, and that's where it cost Chelsea dear. Because Hoddle set the chance up, and Hazard buried the shot. And now he's had a hand in all 3 goals. And has made what looked like a difficult match for Tottenham into what could prove to be, thanks to Hazard's goal, a comfortable one. We shall see. They've scored 3 goals in the first 16 minutes of the second half. Fillery for Chelsea. And here's Walker, and there's Pates, and a chance there, but oh, it's there! Alan Mays gets one back. Tottenham lost their concentration, and Clement's beaten by Mays. The ball played in from the left, and Tottenham didn't defend well there. Walker got a touch on it. It came back to Pates, his shot was blocked, and Mays beat Clements inside his near post. Wow. Chelsea with an instant reply, bringing this cup tie now to a crescendo, which seems to speak for the size of the occasion. The match has now met that. We've seen 5 goals, and who goes through to the semi-final? Well, thanks to that quick reply by Chelsea, it's still in doubt. And again by Hoddle for Archibald. Chivers this is for Chelsea. Now Rhodes-Brown to Fillery. And Hutchings. And Hazard. And Hoddle. Given away by Bumstead to Hoddle, and he's found Archibald, and he's made room for perhaps a chance. Well played the goalkeeper, he forced him wide, but Tottenham are still threatening. Galvin. There's Crooks on the far post, heading it back, but not far enough back for Hazard. Good piece of goalkeeping by Steve Francis there to foil Archibald. He really came well, because if Archibald had put that away, then at 4-2, surely Tottenham would have had the lead they need. As it is, Chelsea are still in there with a great chance. And there's going to be a substitution. It's Clive Walker who is going off. Presumably he's taken a knock of some sort. An attacker goes off, and the substitute is Dennis Rofe, who hasn't played in the first team since late September, had a long injury problem. Well, the dying embers of this cup tie now. Referee will be looking at his watch any moment to check that the 90 minutes are up. And it'll be a question of stoppages, as the sting would appear to have gone out of Chelsea. And Spurs would appear to be ending the match in their most measured stride. But not without a few hiccups along the way, I might add, do they appear to be going into the semi-final. Fine cup tie, and Glenn Hoddle has a hand in the 3 goals which Spurs scored in 14 minutes, which effectively, for Keith Birkinshaw and his team, sealed this cup tie, that spell, and enabled them to go on with their assault on 4 trophies. Chelsea fought so well, admirably, in the absence of Droy and Lee. They played a major part in making this a memorable match. Hoddle thanks the fans. Let's hope they behave on their way home, because the players certainly played their part on the pitch, with a final score at Stamford Bridge of Chelsea 2, Tottenham 3, and Spurs go into the semi-final.
And whatever happened to those fans on the way home, when I understand over 100 were arrested, it seemed that in the ground they were happy to let the action take place on the field, and I think you'll agree they were well rewarded. Well, if you think that cup tie was exciting, take a look at the one coming up now. On the face of it, the all-second division clash between Leicester City and Shrewsbury Town might have looked a little predictable and unremarkable, but that was ignoring the total commitment of both teams. Your commentator, Barry Davis.
Filbert Street offers a wet and windy afternoon, although the atmosphere is certainly warm enough in the ground, which seems to be full of balloons, by the way. It also offers the only captain goalkeeper still surviving in the cup, and a player manager who in the end decided not to pick himself. Mark Waddington finds himself once again with the same collection of players, as Leicester City are unchanged for the 6th consecutive match. The last 5 have all been here at Filbert Street, and every one of them was won. But Graham Turner, the player manager of Shrewsbury Town, decided in the end that he would play 19-year-old Bernard McNally in his side in his place. So his team is exactly that which beat Ipswich in the last round, which means that Jake King, the skipper, has been past fit and takes his place at number 2. The wind in the main is blowing from right to left as we look, and a great burst from Leicester City, both players and supporters, right at the start. The referee is Dave Richardson of Great Harwood in Lancashire, and so much on offer for these two teams. Bit of pushing, free kick Shrewsbury's way. We've certainly got plenty of height forward from Biggins, Bates and Atkins. Kay to find one, Bates coming in. And it was his head at the end. After the flick had come from Atkins. May. And that's the view from the stand behind Mark Waddington's goal. Young, but Lineker had come in. He gets a second chance. Here's Young, that fell kindly for them. And a corner. John Kay. He got it out. Taken by Ian Wilson. It's cutting in a lot. The goalkeeper's in trouble, and May scores. Really was a superbly struck corner and a classic defender's goal at a set piece. He came in, met it solidly after the goalkeeper had lost the flight of the ball. Well, Jock Wallace, the Leicester City manager, said he wanted an early goal to open the match out, and he's got just that. The 6th minute. Shrewsbury, a side who've never been beyond the 6th round in the FA Cup. They were in this round 3 years ago and lost in a replay at home to Wolves, having got the away draw. It was the year they beat Manchester City. Bates following on, and Wallington's bravery saving Leicester City, and that really must have hurt him on the neck. But they've been vulnerable to the ball in the air so much, Leicester, in these opening 20 minutes and more, and suddenly Bates then was free coming in on the left, and the goalkeeper came out to challenge him and seemed to take the brunt on the head and the test on the back of the neck. Is Jim Melrose, but a forward player. And Jock Wallace is the figure there, making his way into the 18-yard area, the Leicester City manager. Well, this is the incident again. Curling ball that came through. Look at Bates here, and the goalkeeper committed and took the full brunt. On the right, the goalkeeper in possession. On the left, the man who fears he might have to take over. But the fears are slowly subsiding. Young's header, this is McNally. And Kelly got a shoulder in, no play on, says the referee. Oh dear, and Kelly for the second time. Give every impression then of being in a slalom. Backing away now. And it comes down to Bates, who puts it in. Chick Bates, it's his 3rd goal in the FA Cup competition. And predictably, the result of pressure in the air, the long ball knocked down. When it came back to Bates, he hit it first time to equalise with 38 minutes of the first half gone, not of course allowing for what must have been a good 5 minutes delay. Johnson. Atkins. Look at that for competition. Chick Bates scored the only goal against Port Vale, then against Burnley in the 3rd and 4th rounds, and scores here in the 6th. time Atkins goes into the referee's book. Graham Turner on the bench. Young. May. Tong. Biggins. Bates. Atkins. Cross, it wouldn't come down for him. Johnson. Looking again for Chick Bates. And Wallington in all sorts of trouble and turned away by Williams as Atkins came in. And really, how long can Leicester continue with a goalkeeper who's hobbling and in no position to cover the ground? Out by May, only to cross. Bates, Kelly, and he gets the punch to it, to Wallington, and he tries the punch again, and it goes all the way. And Wallington with a face of dejection, Kelly saying now, surely he's got to come off. And Biggins' goal puts Shrewsbury into a 2-1 lead, but all as a result of the fact that Mark Wallington clearly was in no position to carry on, and indeed he's now coming to the touchline, a very forlorn figure. Got to the first punch, tried to punch again at the second when in normal circumstances he would have made a catch. And Wallington comes off trying to hold back his real feelings of the situation, and he's getting some tremendous applause. And the game restarts with Alan Young in goal for Leicester City. Again, it's a Leicester free kick. Larry May has come forward, as has O'Neill. Here's O'Neill. Now Lineker. And Leicester putting on the pressure as much as they possibly can. Cut out by May, who leads the counter immediately. Lineker, Wilson. Stirring stuff from the home team. And here's May. Hit Griffin. Oh, his back pass has gone in! And an own goal makes it 2-2. Larry May getting all the congratulations. But it was the other number 5 who scored. Colin Griffin putting past his own goalkeeper. 2-2, and we played 3 minutes of time on Mr. Richardson's watch to allow for the stoppages, notably, of course, to Mark Wallington. Oh, and a bit of a fisticuffs going on between Kelly and McNally. Young made it look very good, and they were challenging Bates because they didn't like Bates' challenge on Young, and the referee seemingly having to protect Bates, but now goes away for a quiet word. There was a moment then when it looked as though Young had come too far forward, but in fact he did it very smoothly. But Bates becomes the second name to go into Mr. Richardson's book. Young, the least concerned among the Leicester players. Peak. Wilson. Fouled by King. Seemed to hang a bit in the air. It was cleared by Bates. Just a prod forward from Peak and no more. Oh, he's made it work. He seemed to push to get there in the first place, but his reactions were very quick when the opportunity came to him. And the end of a remarkable first half, packed with incident, including 4 goals, 2 bookings, and the bad injury to Mark Wallington, which certainly cost one of the goals at least that Shrewsbury scored. They were 1 down to Larry May, came back to lead 2-1, but an own goal makes it 2-2 at half-time. So it's a substitute, Jim Melrose, who gets the second half underway. Well, one is tempted to say the battle recommences, because certainly the first half fiercely competitive. There's Lineker. And they've just made the front row of the upper tier. McNally to cross, little fortunately. McNally's tried to find the gap, and might still. Young come forward. Was sent up in the air and came down to earth pretty hard. He came to collect it in a fairly nonchalant manner, but as McNally went in, McNally was right underneath the goalkeeper and sent him spinning up in the air to land very hard indeed, and I don't think he knows too much about where he is at the moment. Jock Wallace, himself a former goalkeeper, must think that there can't be many afternoons when they've taken as much stick as this. And Steve Lineker is the player without shirt. And it looks as though there is to be a second change. And Jock Wallace, as I was about to say, obviously well aware that he kept going with Mark Wallington, and it cost Leicester City. And he doesn't want to make the same error twice. It's a little hard, I know that observation, but I'm afraid it's true. And he seemed to hit his head pretty hard when he came down. And so Steve Lineker's getting a chance to have a good feel of the ball. Third goalkeeper that Leicester have had this afternoon, and Leicester of course now down to 10 men. And the roar now from the crowd is that Alan Young is back on the field to play in his old role of centre forward. May. No real chance for Melrose. And Jock Wallace on his feet as well. And the referee coming to talk to John McVeigh. And I think we're going to have yet another change in goal. Alan Young is returning to the chore, and Steve Lineker goes back with a number 7 shirt. We're back to the permutation that Leicester had to use in the second part of the first half. Tommy Williams to take the free kick. Peak, Lineker. Melrose, yes! And he's off on his lap of honour, and on the other side of the pitch there's another party celebration going on, because the man who was in goal until only a few seconds ago is the man who supplied the cross. There he is, Steve Lineker. Other spectators have come on at the other end to congratulate Alan Young, who in fact was a spectator in that incident himself. But Melrose has given Leicester a 3-2 lead. And the goal coming in the 60th minute of the match. Although, with so many changes, timings have become only a basis for negotiation. Jim Melrose, the substitute, puts the home side back in front with what is his 9th goal of the season. Kelly. Met by Griffin. And again, Melrose. Well, they've got plenty of power, but not too much accuracy. Chong. Picked up too much pace. And Young looks very happy in goal now. Wilson. Halfway through the second half. Leicester 3, Shrewsbury 2. And here's Melrose, what a good turn, and Lineker, really fine move. And Lineker brings up perhaps the biggest wall so far. Leicester City now with real breathing space. But it was Kelly who played the ball through, and what a good ball it was. Melrose who turned on it sweetly, and when it just ran away for a second, Lineker followed up to give Leicester their 4th goal of the afternoon. It makes it a dozen for him this season, and I think it makes it that Leicester City will appear in the semi-finals of this season's FA Cup competition, at least. Chong. Williams across. He did well to come across because he left a man in doing so. There's nobody else to cover. Tom's corner, it's curling a lot. Oh, well taken. Oh, he looks very happy in the role. Not yet satisfied, are shouting that we want 5. Lineker. Williams. Didn't want to take it on his left. Here's Peak. He doesn't mind. Wilson. Lineker. Beautifully away from his man. Wilson in the middle, so is Melrose. Cross, Melrose. And a free kick will be given. Shrewsbury want to make a substitution. And it's really no surprise that King is the player to be substituted. They brought on John Dungworth, the striker replacing the defender. Bates, Griffin, Wilson, Lineker. Lineker has recovered, Melrose is in the middle, and scores! Well, he didn't look as though he ought to have scored, but he has. Lineker calling for it, was given it where he wanted it, and his cross was met by Melrose, and it eluded Bob Wharton. So the 7th goal of a remarkable match. Tom, cross. Biggins. So much has happened since Biggins gave Shrewsbury a hope of a semi-final place. Okay. Atkins, Bates. Atkins stays down as Lineker comes away. Fryer out to the left, he probably won't need him. He needed rather more, in fact. Well, whatever else happens in this FA Cup competition, this will be a match long remembered, that I'm sure. 7 goals, Leicester starting in tremendous style with a goal after 6 minutes. It all seemed to have gone away from them when they lost Mark Wellington and conceded 2 goals. An own goal put them back on course, and in the second half their considerable strength of character and resilience has taken them through to the semi-final with a convincing 5-2 victory.
Well, personally, I can't remember anything happening quite like that. 3 goalkeepers in 1 goal in 1 game, 2 of them injured, 1 decisively, and all that goal-mouth excitement somehow inspiring a 5-2 win for their team. Barry Davis investigates.
Mark, I think the first question must be, what do you think of the other goalkeepers?
Well, they kept a clean sheet. They didn't concede any, so on today's performance, they're 2 goals better than me.
Actually, Stevie and I were having a little chat after the game, and as Mark says, we both kept a clean sheet, so if he had come straight off, it would have been, might have been 5-0.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, really? Very much so.
Were you upset when they brought Alan back to replace you?
Not really, because I was in their front line, they was a bit bigger than me, and the way they kept pumping the balls, and I thought, well, I'll get back up front.
Easy to be wise after the event, but should you have come off then?
Yeah.
Definitely.
As it turned out, yes, I should have come off straight away. But it was unfortunate that in the 5 minutes we were just seeing how it was going to stand up, they scored 2 goals. And then I think there are about 30,000 people saying I should come off.
And who's going to play in goal in the semi-final?
Alan, we hope.
No doubt about that. Well, well done, Leicester, and I think you'll agree they deserve their win. But to do justice to Shrewsbury, I'd like to clear up any accusation that the two goalkeeper injuries were down to unfair aggression. The first when Mark Wallington was injured with the clash with Chick Bates. Because Andy Peake misses this ball here, it's Wallington who's really caught out. Chick Bates knows he's going to get there, but it's Wallington's bravery that actually threw the whole of his body, face, chest and everything into Bates' foot. But he really was going for the ball fairly. The second one, Alan Young's injury with Bernard McNally. And here you can see McNally, who decides to peel off at that moment. I don't think he likes the look of Young coming out of him. And as it happened, of course, he spun up in the air and hit the ground rather hard. Well, to back that up, Mark Wallington added afterwards, if it had been one of our forwards and he'd pulled out, we'd have wanted to know why.
Well, Leicester are one of two second division clubs in the semi-finals, the first time that's happened in 18 years. The other club through is Queen's Park Rangers, who beat Crystal Palace with a late goal by Clive Allen.